Hey gorgeous, today I want to talk to you about the shadow side of being a leader, especially a female leader, a woman who wants to lead from her feminine. Now, women like us, we're industry leaders, innovators, we're boss ass bitches, powerhouses, whatever label you want to throw on it. We're the ones that go first. We are the women who typically are healing and breaking generational curses and trauma and wounding. We are the women who are really reinventing what relationships and partnerships look like. We are the most educated, financially independent, powerful, and independent in general as women than any generation that has come before us. And if you're like me, you pride yourself on the fact that you're up to big things in the world. You're creating a movement. You are leading your own revolution. You are a pioneer in so many ways. And while all of that is amazing and sounds incredible, there really is a shadow side to being the one who always goes first. There's a loneliness often to being the one who's leading the charge. And I know for myself and so many of my clients and the women inside of my community, we've really been feeling the pain, the loneliness, the feelings of frustration and disappointment, because when you are leading something that's revolutionary, it can quite honestly feel like there you are, standing at the front, beating your drum to an empty audience. You put your heart, your soul, your wisdom out into the world and you hear nothing back. Or you hear people saying it sounds great, but nobody's really biting or really getting involved. It can be one of the most disheartening feelings to know with every cell of your body that what you are doing will change people's lives, and yet feel like people just aren't getting it. They're not hearing you. They're not seeing you. And this shadow side brings up a lot of emotion: anger, rage, frustration. We so desperately want to feel seen and heard, and yet we also so deeply fear being fully seen and fully heard because we've been told and taught that that's dangerous for us as women. So we're walking around with this dichotomy. I want to be seen and heard unapologetically myself, and yet I'm deeply terrified of that happening. I'm putting myself out there every day. I'm showing up. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the healing. I go to therapy. I hire the coaches. And yet it feels like nobody's getting it. It's a lot. And quite frankly, we're holding it in our nervous system. We're holding it in our bodies. And that fear, that anger, the rage, the disappointment, the frustration, it's just kind of stuck there right now because we're just trying in a lot of ways to survive. We're 2 years into a global pandemic. There's so much happening in the world. For women like us, things that were like a relief or a sense of self-care, traveling, spa days, going out, we've been really disconnected from so much of that for so long. Either it's been shut down, inaccessible, there's been added restrictions, we're home so much, our schedules aren't the same as they used to be. And I don't know about you, but in a lot of ways I had felt like I lost my spark. And so as I sat with all of these emotions and going through my own practices that worked but weren't really like getting to the meat of it, and talking to women inside of my community and private clients, I realized what we needed. We need to come together for a massive fucking swamp party. A party where we rage, where we scream, where we grieve, where we cry. Now, before you exit out and get freaked out at this idea, we can only own our power to the degree that we own our darkness. So this Saturday, yes, in 2 days, I am hosting an epic and massive swamp party. I'm calling it Rage Against the Patriarchy because at the end of the day, so much of these suppressed feelings, so much of the emotions that are kind of like gunking up our energetic system are because of the patriarchy. We're turning in, we're judging ourselves, criticizing ourselves, the pain, the disappointment. Here you are trying to lead people to being the best versions of themselves, and so many of them are like stuck in their own fear. We are going to come together on Saturday. We're going to let it all fucking go. I'm going to lead us through emotional releasing techniques, breath work, and an epic pleasure practice to tie it all together. So just plan on 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes at most. If you can't make it live Saturday, don't worry. It's going to be recorded. And as long as you can carve out an hour to an hour and a half at some point soon, I would highly recommend that you register for the event so you can get the recording and do it on your own time. You will still get so much benefit from being connected into this energy. There is so much power when women to come together and really like own this dark goddess energy, rage, move the anger, move the fear, move the disappointment up and out. When we do that, it really opens up the channel to manifest. It opens up the channels for clarity, for our desires to really tap into our body, our sensuality, pleasure, all of the things that you want to be tapped into, but that you're feeling disconnected from. It's because all of this stuck and stagnant emotion. So join me on Saturday. The link is below, or you can go to themagneticwoman.com/swamp, SWAMP -party. If you have any questions, please let me know.